Well, hello everyone, and welcome to season three. Okay, episode one of Better Everyday broadcast with your girl D Thea. And y'all, if you've been riding with me since season one, I mean, our name didn't change, the theme didn't change, now I didn't change. Okay, and today I am absolutely thrilled to have I'm gonna call her my bestie. Ha 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 ha. My spirit world bestie. Okay. I met this beautiful soul that you see here when I was in Sacramento for a brief period of time, and so it's really fitting when we get into the topic. But let me just introduce to some, and well, introduce to the world. I'm gonna say that because this is a world broadcast, so I'm gonna introduce to the world Tenderheart Medicine Woman. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. So before we get into like everything, I want to kind of, I want you to introduce yourself because I can tell you, I can tell everybody how I met you, all of that, but really who you are, and why you're pivotal for me in this moment is what's going to really kind of connect the dots for the audience. So tell us a little bit about you, Tenderheart, my friend.
Okay. I'm Tenderheart Phils, and I'm a medicine woman. So that just means I have a variety of different teachings and practices, indigenous, holistic, and things of that nature to share. That's very high level, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, but that's good though. And like, how did you come to that place? Like, were you born into it? How were you introduced into this level of your work in this life?
I would have to say I had uh, met and came across a Native American shaman, and so studied with a Native American shaman for over 20 years, and then another Hawaiian, African American, and Native American shaman also for about 20 years, and uh, it just resonated with me. I'm it's different medicine in my blood. Um, my grandmother and um, just a drawing. It was just a drawing. It's like whatever you're drawn to. One day you walk into a shop and your life changes.
And don't we know it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. More to come on that. Absolutely, you're absolutely like right. Like I walked into that shop and my life did change, and so I really appreciate you being the vessel used to bring that catalyst. And so that really brings us to today's show. As I was, you know, thinking about where I would start with season three, I honestly didn't know until yesterday, if I'm honest. And there is the full moon is coming, and I was thinking, okay, it's time for me to do something different. It's time for me to actually work with the energies. And so I reached out to you, and I was like, you know what? Can you help me with the full moon prayer? And I've got this candle, and we started talking. I was like, wait a minute, why don't we teach other people, because there are a lot of people who really don't know how to work with the elements, right? And I know we're not going to be able to get into it all, but tell us a little bit about the full moon, because I know and
Well, I
why.
think you wanted to go over. Well, the full moon is about bringing in, what it is that you want to manifest. Grandmother Moon is shining so bright, and so it's a good time. Plus, it's an eclipse, and there's many different things online that you can look up to see what this particular moon and eclipse and what those energies are. and see what resonates to you, what feels right, and really be honest. Sometimes it's those things that, might feel a little heaviness in your stomach and you might wait to put it, but that little heaviness might be the right area to go. And so check in with yourself, your higher self, creator spirit, whatever it is that you resonate with, to get some guidance on what it is that you're going to be focusing on for awakening, manifesting, illuminating your path. Um, and so some people use the word spell. Some are don't like that term. So you can also, I was coming to me was think of it as your own person, your own spirit, your light, wakening up and connecting to those light forces that you resonate with, to put your prayers out there and have them manifest, have it come into this reality, into this fruition. And so it is really a awakening of your spirit, of what it is that you're really wanting right now. True.
And
So with that, when you look at it, you can look, well, I'll let you prompt, you let me know where you
no,
want to go.
I thank you. And I'm just going to chime in just for a second because you brought up two terms that I think a lot of people think about: spell and prayer, right? And, to some people, it's the same. When you look at it, a prayer and a spell could be the same, just the way that they're used. And so I love that you brought them up and you kind of played with both of those words, because that's one of the themes of this particular show. Like, is a spell like, is a spell really, what people put on the word spell, or is a spell really your way of working with the elements and praying, basically, so that what you want comes into, your 3D reality. So thank you for just tapping into that. Now I'll let you, continue from where you were going.
Well, if you look at what it is that you want to manifest, then you get a color candle that would represent that. And so always really start with a white candle. If it's a tea light, I personally like the tall ones. I have my own candle going on. I hope I can. I don't know if you can see it.
I can.
So that's my candle, um, and I started that on Friday the 13th, and it's just continuing. And it's mine and a sister. Um, our prayers. And so it was perfect to bring it here. It wanted to come. So anyway, the white candle is your connection. So when you're lighting that, you're praying to whatever that higher power is that you resonate with, whether it's creator, God, great spirit, the universe, mother nature. Some people will call in different deities, different gods or goddesses, whatever resonates with your culture. I work a lot with the archangels, angelic realm, my guides, my allies. Those could also be my totem allies. And then I work a lot with my ancestors. So who you call upon is really going to be what you resonate with. Some people, it's sprites, gnomes, fairies, Thor, you name it, Isis, Mother Mary, Jesus, Kuan Yin, Buddha, what it is that you're looking for, Ganesh, right? So Lakshmi, Kuan Yin, I'm going to keep going because they're all just beautiful and wonderful.
Absolutely.
And just
And I
attach.
love that. I love that you're doing that too, because what you're saying is this is unique to you, the individual, right? And that's what it is. It's unique to you, the individual. And so who you choose to call upon. And I want us to make sure that, because right now we've already jumped in. So for those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Right now we're jumping into the actual process for the full moon ritual. And so, I really appreciate you are just jumping right into it. And the first thing you said is like,
Sorry.
call in who you're calling in to assist you. And so continue.
Okay. Um, yeah, you could always go online too and do research. And so you're looking at who you're going to call, and then what it is that you want to manifest. Normally, you can get a color candle that would recommend that for you. Um, that would resonate. You know, sometimes you might be drawn to a particular color. Now, the color of the candle, you know, just real brief. If you're familiar with the chakras, for the most part, the color of the candle is going to resonate to those areas and those characteristics, right? So white is obviously, you know, creator. The white light guiding your path, illuminating it, opening it up. Purple is going to be for intuition, connecting more and hearing your angels, your guides, your allies. And maybe you want to start working with a certain goddess or god or um, a guide or whoever that is, but it's to open those channels up so you can recognize it and understand and get the information. Blue is really soothing, you know, depending on the color, but usually it's about communication, getting that clarity and being able to communicate with others. So many times we're we have communication barriers in so many different levels. So opening up that bridge of light for communication. Um, Pink is about love, self-love, opening love, attracting love, being loving in your thoughts, your words, your actions, your deeds. Green, it can be used for two things. It can be used for health. It can be used for bringing in financial prosperity. Green and yellow together are really good for bringing in that prosperity. Yellow alone, confidence, joy, right? Orange is success. You know, where is it you want to be successful? It can also, again, be that sacredness, but opening up that honoring and respecting yourself and, you know, shining, get it, find your joy and where do you want to be successful in creating that? Red can be for grounding. It can also be for passion. Um, it can be for healthy blood. Brown is usually about breaking contracts. Black is for protection. And so, you know, that's just a snippet. And I'm sure just with those, you can kind of see, well, what resonates with you. Um, and then, do you want me to continue? Are you
Well,
ready?
I do have one question. Thank you
Okay.
for pausing for me. I do have one
Okay.
question because you
Sure.
mentioned like all of the different colors and like we've talked, you know, prior to us coming on the show about my candle and, you know, kind of show it here. And for those of you who are on the podcast, it is a multiple candle. It's a multiple colored candle. It has 7 different colors. And so I have one candle that's representing a lot of areas. But my question to you and the other people may have this question is if you are working on different areas, right? And let's say you're working on an area that would be considered a green area, a yellow area, and let's say a purple area. What do you recommend? Do you recommend that you have those candles all together at one time, or that you focus on one area at a time when you're doing this? Like, how do
That
you?
that's a good question. You know, me personally, I get them all. You can get, you know, you can get them really big, which is really nice for the full moon. You can get uh, the votives, which are nice. And they have, yeah, you can get the votives. You can also get little tea lights, right? You can get little mini candles. And so there's the little mini ones and the small ones, and those are really nice for um, getting 3 of them and doing them every day or pausing every 72 hours as the new moon to the full moon and then getting the large one on the full moon. So you're really building some energy, right? Um, yeah. And depending on what it is, you could use a white candle. So you really have to fill it out.
Okay, okay.
Don't
Well, and that was
get hung up on, oh God, I don't have this color, I can't do it. Don't worry about that. Even a white light will do, because you can write something and put it underneath, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But
Wow.
I do like the color candles because,
Awesome. Well,
and the reason why, just real quick, the reason why I like the color candles is because colors have certain vibrations. And so when you're lighting the candles and after you put your prayer, and we're going to talk about the verbiage and feeling it and having that gratitude, um, as the candle is burning, it's like that continuous prayer is being sent through the ethers and it's continuing to go out to be manifested. So, that's the lovely thing about the candles. And plus, when you see them, you can recharge them, pray over them, and it just builds the momentum in the prayer and the
okay.
energy. It's a can be very rapid.
Okay. So once you pick your candle now, and you know what's next.
Okay, so what I would recommend, get a paper out, get a computer out, and first start with who it is that you want to call upon, right? Because that's what you're going to use for your white candle. And then what I would do is write out what it is that you want. Sometimes you're writing it out and you can see kind of like a chronological order, in a sense of, well, if I'm going to be an attorney, the first thing I have to do is I've got to go to law school. Then I need to go and pass the bar. And now I'm going to go and find it. Now I'm going to open my own practice. Prior to that, it might be getting the funding to go to school. And so, whatever feels right to you, right? But, well, maybe that's not a good example because that's going to be, for that, I would use orange for success, and I would use green and yellow for money, right? And white. But I think I got off track. I'm sorry. So write down what it is that you want, and you're going to be able to add to it, or see, how you want to change it once it's on paper. And on the top of the paper, write the alphabet. And then when you're writing your spell, your prayer, you're going to make it rhyme, because when it rhymes, it has a very nice flow. And when it's flowing, it's like the breeze, and you'll feel it. And it's just like a song note that goes out, to have your song come into fruition. So the words that you want to refrain from using are not, and want, and need, and will. The universe doesn't hear not, and so it admits that. Um, if you say want, you're praying to want. If you say need, you're praying to need. If you say will, it's I will in the future. So, however you resonate with that, some people might, feel that the word want is something. So, if that feels right, go ahead and use it. But I have found it to be beneficial to, put it in terms where it's transpiring right now, and so, and have it flow and get it to rhyme, and you'll feel it. It'll feel good. What I also like to do, if you have the multicolor that Deidre has showed you, then it would just be one. Uh-huh, it would be, we talked about it earlier, so what she wants to bring in for each color, and just have one sentence rhyming for each color, because there's so many different colors. Um, Otherwise, I would do a minimum of 3, uh, I really do know the word 3, um, 3 sentences that rhyme as your meat, right? So if I was doing a success, it would be 3 sentences for success that rhyme. And then afterwards, if I followed it up with a money candle with green and yellow, it would be 3 sentences around the money candle, right? Now, that's the meat of it. And then you want a closing. The closing, again, you want to, also have it rhyme, because it's wonderful. It feels good. Um, if you're doing this on the full moon, which this is what it's for, is, include grandmother moon, right? Have her light shine bright. Make sure you say beginning here and now, because we're the only place in the universe that uses time. And so when you're calling those light beings, they want to know what dimension, reality, and time space you are. So it's beginning here and now, right? And so, beginning here and now, as Grandmother Moon shines light, have this manifestation take place with all your might, right? It has a nice tone. You can find something else that feels good, um, but have it feel good to you. And then at the end, give your gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aho, amen, so mote it be, or whatever feels right for you, but give that gratitude. So that is when you're writing it. And then you're writing it or putting on a computer and changing it. Um, you're going to find, hey, that sentence in it feels so good. I'm going to have to redo it. And as you continue to redo it, all that energy is going into the spell, to the prayer, right? As you're thinking about it, as you're creating it. And then when you're done, you're going to hold that candle, visualize your prayer, feel it, give it gratitude, and whatever you're guided to do. These are, basic instructions to help you in the manifestation. But if you feel you want to write on the candle or carve in the candle, symbols, words, or put crystals around it, or maybe you want to speak to the candle, or maybe you want to bring the energy into the candle. But be sure to hold it, visualize it, and let the candle know what it's going to do, right? Um, and then you're ready to begin. You ready for next steps, or you have a question?
I do. Okay, so and thank you so much for like going through that. As you're listening, I'm pretty sure many of you will have to go back and listen to the replay. Thank you. But as I was listening to you, um, it's the process that you went through. I did have a question about like the actual lighting of the candle. Like when do you light the candle and how long do you allow the candle? Like for my candle, it's gonna have to burn all the way through, right? Because it's all the colors have to get through. So the candle will have to just burn all the way through. So, but like if they had a candle that wasn't like that, then do you let it burn all the way through? Or is there cases that you do let it burn all the way through? So you know, if you can
That's
touch
a really
on
good
that.
question. Yeah, fire safety, right? So let's be safe. If you're leaving, you can snuff the candle. There's snuffers, and it's just you're putting it out with the intention of, you know, gratitude, thank you, hold my desires until I relight. And then you're going back when you're home and it's safe and you're in that space and you relight it and you do the prayers again. So again, it's adding to. Is if you have a fireplace and it's safe, then you could do that if you don't have animals or anything that's going to get it. But sometimes if there's small candles, the votives, the tea lights, the minis, those you can usually do and have be there while it completes. Otherwise, you're gonna have to snuff it.
Okay, okay. And do you light it when you're holding it and speaking the actual prayer or spell, or do you light it out? Like when do you actually light it?
Before. So prior
Okay.
to doing, you want to make sure you're in a good space. Yeah, there's things that you can do to kind of clear. Use sage. There's spray that you can use. You can get an incense stick with the intention of clearing. There's different methods that you can use. Um, Yourself, there's selenite wands that you can clear. And so set your candles up, have your paper out. If you put it on a computer, you might want to write it out to add more to it. That way you can write, pictures, or those who are more advanced might want to do sigils or additional things on it. And then you're going to have your paper and your candles out. If you have crystals that support the energy, you can put those around. But sticking to the candles right now. Now, when you're ready, the first thing you do is you light that white candle and you can hold it. And I recommend doing it different ways, see how it feels for you. But I feel that when you're holding it and you have the candle and you're calling in creator, your angels, your guides, and it's above you, it's that resonance of almost like bringing that in and into your space. And it just, it feels good, right? Once
Right.
you light it and you're calling it, you can put the candle down. Now you're going to go to your color candle, right? You're going to light it. You might want to fill it again. And you're going to say your prayer as, whatever your prayer is. So you've already done the calling with the candle. Now this is where we talked about the rhyming of what you want to manifest and the ending and the gratitude. When you're done, take the paper, put it under the candle. Um, Depending on the candle you have, if you have a votive, you might want to get a little bowl or dish because you don't know how it's going to melt and you don't want to mess. Um, and that way, too, if you use crystals around it, if it goes onto the crystals, you can later take those crystals with you to keep that energy going out. But yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And then I love that you talked about ending with gratitude because, you know, all of this, and I just want to input this because a lot of my listeners come from the same background that I come from, a church background. And a lot of this wasn't, it was looked at in one way, but when you really go back and you read the Christian's Bible, then these things are there. I mean, all of this is there, the candle, everything. And so this show won't be a show in which I bring that information, but check your own receipts, do your own research. Okay, it's there.
Well, and it really doesn't matter, teacher. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Catholic, Mormon, if it brings you closer to light and helping you to be a better person and shine and more light, more love, more gratitude, and creating more peace and harmony, then that's it. Then use those in your white candle
Come on
and
now.
try it. Yeah.
Come on. Okay. All righty. So let's just talk about I want it because you've given them a really good overview, a high level overview of how to do the ritual. But now I want to really, like, if you could just tap into a little bit about why you would even do it. Like, what's the benefit of tapping into a full moon ritual, if you would?
Well, wow. You'll have to experience it. Okay, so okay, Mother Earth is a human living. It's a planet that we live upon, right? Then you have grandfather sun that's shining light. Then you have grandmother moon that shines bright. And the moon, when she is shining her fullest light. And um, we can go into astrology with different planets, but just at a very high level, it's when you want to bring in. So normally, like when you have a new moon, that's when you're looking at what it is you want to bring in for, the 2 weeks or so before the full moon. Um, and you can start doing candle work for that. And so you're working, and really on the full moon, it's like 4th of July fireworks, right? Um, and then 3 days after, you can still use that energy for manifest. And then after that, it's really about, okay, now what is it that I want to remove from my life? What are the obstacles, or what are the things that no longer serve me, that I want to put death to, release, let go of? So then you're doing candles to release those. But the full moon is very powerful. I highly recommend it,
Okay.
especially with the eclipse.
And I appreciate it. And, just so that everyone knows, we're going to be doing a good series on this. I have asked Tenderheart if she would, like, you know, help and be of spiritual guidance, just because it's a part of my journey. We're friends, we're talking about it. So why not bring it to my other friends, friends that I have not met all over the world. But I think if we do a series on, just that whole moon phase and the rituals that go along with it, then, we can start helping people to see different practices. And if they resonate, then they can start picking them up. I mean, does that make sense? Is that something that you'd be willing to do with us, Tenderheart?
Sure. I think it'll fine tune itself. But
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be around candles and manifestation, and the different things to open that pathway up. And it's really just to, have the inner light shine brighter and to help manifest, bring those things into fruition versus putting them on the back burner and dreaming about them. Start bringing them into reality.
Yeah, and honestly, this is not something that I've ever like, you know, I've seen it before, but this time, when I was drawn to it, I've had these candles since, like, some of them I actually bought in Sacramento, drove them all the way to Texas, and now I'm just, and I'm about to use them. But I love that you said what you feel led to do, because a lot of times, because of whatever we've learned or didn't learn, or whatever stipulations and things, we don't do what we feel naturally led to do. And so that's why I think it's really important on the podcast that I bring this part of my life into it, because it is a part of my seeking, and as I'm seeking, I'm finding this kind of information. I'm being led to people like Tenderheart, and when you do something like that, you literally are changing your world. You're expanding, you're growing, and you're seeing and becoming um, something really beautiful. That's just what I feel. Now,
I like
Tenderheart,
that.
before we go, because you're gonna.
Are you there? There you are.
Yeah, someone was calling in. Okay, but that we'll be talking again next week. I know that your YouTube channel is coming, and we're going to be really excited about that. But before we end out this show, like, is there anything else you want to share about this full moon ritual, the process, the intentions, anything before we go?
Um, I would stretch yourself. Like I said, I would go online and see what the energies are, look at different sources of what the energies are for this full moon with the eclipse, and see what resonates on what you want to manifest. And really, if anything, at least get a white candle and write a prayer. See how it works. And you have time. It's Sunday. So you've got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to play with it. Um, have fun with it. Bring the joy, bring the light, bring the gratitude, feel it, see it. Yeah. And I had a medicine teacher one time tell me, and let me know when my prayers are being answered, because sometimes, you know, our prayers are answered and we may not know. So if that's something that resonates with you to include in your prayer, then I share that. But um,
Oh
yeah.
no, that was good. That was a good key, because I promise you, there are a lot of times our prayers have been answered and we don't even know it. Like, we standing there talking about, I'm waiting on the answer, and the answer sitting there looking at you saying, I'm right here. I'm right
Well, it's
here.
like you and I were on the phone a couple weeks ago or a month ago, I think, and um, I said, "Well, I don't know if it's going to be this or this," and then I got a text from somebody. I said, "Oh, hold on, so and so's texting me." She goes, "You just asked, and that was your answer." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" It went woof. So if it goes over your head, believe me, you'll have a friend or someone to say, "Hey, you didn't see that."
I know, right?
I was
I
grateful.
remember that. I was like, yeah, and that happens to us all, because I think we're sometimes conditioned to look for a certain thing to be answered, or answer to come a certain way. And when it comes with ease and joy, when it comes with such, effortlessly, we're like, well, that can't be it. I mean, I
And it
don't do
can,
that.
it really can be. And I think that's the thing about opening yourself up, because it's like, oh my God, okay. it's okay. Well, get it off the back burner. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Well,
So get off the
thank
back burner.
yes, thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining us.
you.
That we have tapped into your time at the river, but I really
Isn't
appreciate.
it gorgeous?
I know, right? I really appreciate. Oh gosh, y'all, I love that river. When I was in Sacramento, that was my spot. I'm not the spot you
Yep.
think, but the river was my spot.
Oh, is it? Can you see the tree? We used to do,
Oh, oh,
yeah,
that's a nice tree. You
we
know
used to
what?
do hikes together. Huh?
Where I used to go to the river, there was a set of trees, and they told me their name was the council. And it was like a council, it was a set of trees. They were in this half moon circle. And they told me they were the council. And I was like, oh, okay, hey, y'all. I didn't even, that was before, like, that was my first time ever tapping into the tree, nature talking to me, which it does. It speaks to us all the
Oh, yeah.
time. That was the first time, and I took my shoes off. I went over there like it was holy ground. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, it's the council.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
have to show me that spot next time you're in town.
yeah, I took a picture of them. So it's a really beautiful area where that, I mean, the all up and down that river. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time today. We're gonna pick up with this next
No, it was
week.
fun. Thank you.
Yes, and who knows
I
what
hope
we're
it
gonna.
helps. I hope it helps. It really, yeah. All right.
Yes,
Mwah.
absolutely. And please, if any of you have any comments, have any questions, please place your questions below, or there is an email address in my somewhere on this YouTube. Y'all know where it is. Find it. You can always email me, and if it's a question for Tenderheart, I'll make sure she gets it. Hopefully by next week we'll have more information on how you can start following and tapping into the wisdom that Tenderheart has. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week
Ah,
on
thank you.
the Better Everyday podcast, where we just believe that if you ask, you're gonna receive, and if you receive and apply, then your life will get better every day. All right. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.